ignore your reality. Ignore your reality. What your reality says doesn't matter. The amount of money you have, what people say, the way you look, it doesn't matter. Because reality is not real in the way we think it is. We usually think that what the physical plane shows is the most pure expression of reality. But actually, it is the lowest expression of reality. And to understand that, we can use a little bit of philosophy, and then we can jump into science so we can master the skill of controlling our mind. Just like I said earlier, ignore your reality. You just decide who you are. That's the only thing that matters. Your mental state. The physical plane, what we call reality, will adjust over time. You need to be patient. But the most important thing here is that you make the decision internally. You make the decision of who you are and which thoughts are you going to believe and reinforce. And like I said, you make thoughts grow over time. And those thoughts bring actions. You will act in a specific way. And those actions over time will adjust your reality. But you have to be patient. But first of all, let's try to define reality. We only care about what reality means for us so we can change our lives and get the results we want. That's the only thing we want here. So if we try to explain reality, there are many ways, but there is one way that explains reality that allows you to master the laws that regulate and create order in this universe. Those are the principles of the universe. There are many principles. We will see only 3 and other 3 like real quick, and we will miss 1, but that's not a problem because we just want to take action. That's the only thing we want to do here. We have a little bit of theory today, but the most important thing we do today is take action. The first principle is the principle of mentalism. And what this principle says is the most important thing you have to internalize in order to actually master these laws. What this principle says is pretty simple. It says that all is mind. So, according to this principle, all is mind. That means that everything you see is mind in a way. There is some way that explains why everything is mind. And what this specific group of philosophy says, which is called Hermeticism and Oscurantism, is that the world, what we call reality, comes from an infinite mind that they call the all. But Christians call it God, and other people call it the universe. You can call it however you want, but understanding the world from this point of view will really change your life. Now all is mind. There is an infinite mind, a living mind that creates all reality we see. And inside that infinite consciousness, it's infinite, there are finite consciousness. Those are us. And we, in a lower scale, create our own reality. The second principle is the principle of correspondence. And this principle can be summarized in one phrase. As above, so below, as below, so above. As above, so below, as below, so above. What this means is that in reality, there are different planes. Planes that share patterns, and those planes interact with each other. Now, this is really complex, and we can't be here for 2-3 hours or months studying and trying to explain this in a simple way because it's nonsense. We don't need to understand all of this philosophy thing to take action. And what we want here is take action, because we are not philosophers. We are here to do something else. So let's try to understand what a plane is in a super simple word, and that is a state. So a plane is a state. What is a state? A state is basically a set of conditions. So there are certain characteristics about elements like, for example, rate of speed, manner of movement, or direction of movement, that if those three conditions are the same in two objects, they are in the same plane. It's complex and it's abstract because this is not about the physical world in which we can see things moving in 3 dimensions and we can measure the speed and define directions. It's different. We're talking about something more abstract, something more generic. This is just one form of manifestation of what a dimension and a plane is, the physical reality, which is dense matter that we can observe. But let's just stay here for now, and let's say that there are higher planes that affects lower planes. But let's give an example so we understand this quickly. What we know now is that the mental plane conditions and creates the physical plane. The way your mind is set is the way you interact with the physical plane. So the physical plane changes according to your mental state. The third principle is the principle of cause and effect. What this principle says is that every cause has its associated effect and every effect has its associated cause. There is no effect without a cause and there is no cause without an effect. It's that simple. What does this mean? If we master this principle, we will understand that if we don't become the cause of what we won't have what we want. Because it's that simple. If we don't become the kind of person that creates the effects we like and we want for our lives, then there is no way we get those effects. I said in the beginning of the video that we will jump from philosophy to science. And this is quite the most important part of all, because if we understand our minds and how our minds work, we can change our lives. So let's understand how our mind works real quick. Our brains live in the world, and the world is complex. You have to socialize, you have to get food, you have to have friends, you have to reproduce and do more stuff. That's really complex. So your brain spends a lot amount of energy. So what your brain does is optimize that energy consumption. How? By automating processes. Basically mapping situations with actions. So every time your brain sees the same situation that has seen for many times, there is an action associated with that situation and boom, it's automatic. Like you see the situation and you act. You don't think, you don't analyze, and you don't overthink for hours. You just, boom, you act. That's why you see somebody and you say hi, or you see your friends and you always say the same thing because your brain has automated actions. Now, as you can see here, your brain basically stores raw data. That means memories. Like every time you see something, your brain probably is storing data in your mind. Like you try to socialize and your brain remembers that interaction. Or you build a business and your brain remembers how you worked, how the business did, and what people said and stuff. That's raw data. That has no significance by itself. But your brain also thinks and creates information about this raw data. For example, if suppose you are shy, so you try to socialize someday, and that interaction was extremely awkward. Your brain stored the experience and also the belief of I am shy, because this experience says that the interaction was awkward and there was no success, so I'm a failure and I am shy. Your brain divides all this data and information into two big groups. First of all, your identity. This is who you think you are. And who you think you are is extremely important because it conditions your behavior. It defines your behavior. Because if you think you are shy, you will act like a shy person. So your beliefs about yourself are the most important thing you have. Your environment. This is what you think your environment is like. For example, do you think that money is scarce or abundance? Do you think that people are good or bad? And those beliefs of the environment also conditions your behavior. Because if you think, for example, that money is scarce, then your brain will not look for opportunities to make money. Because why would it? Like, if money is scarce and difficult to make, then why would the brain give energy to a project that is going to fail? Now, if you think money is abundant, then your brain will be constantly looking for opportunities to make money. Because according to that belief, money is abundant and relatively easy to make. So there are like millions of opportunities to make money. So you are more likely to make money. Now, the brain uses all this information to do one thing, and that is create predictions or predict. Your brain predicts events all the time. Every time you face a situation, your brain predicts exactly what's going to happen according to the raw data and information you have. Because the prediction may be wrong, but it's still believed it is true inside your brain. So you believe your predictions. We won't believe our predictions from now on because we are becoming aware that these predictions are just a thought. They are not real or fake. These predictions just are. And then your brain uses these predictions to design actions. And these actions bring you your results. So if you want to change your life, that means you want to change what you have. So to change what you have to change your actions. But if you want to change your actions, you have to change your mind. And if you want to change your mind, you have to understand this diagram and this automatic system that is running in your unconscious mind every time, and you don't realize about it. So imagine you are in the nature and you see a bear. And your brain will automatically predict what's going to happen if you get close to the bear. You will see yourself probably damaged or even not even alive on the floor because the bear will have attacked you in your prediction. So your brain doesn't say that the bear is dangerous. What your brains do is predict exactly what's going to happen. And that's important because when the brain predicts what's going to happen, you are visualizing yourself acting in a specific way. So if your beliefs and raw data say that you are a shy person and you are unconfident and you are not worth, then you will visualize yourself acting as a shy person. If your brain says you are a failure, you can sustain focused work for more than an hour and a half, or that you cannot make money because you're not the kind of person that makes money, so why would you even try? Then your brain will predict situations when you try, for example, to build a business or get a job as a failure. That's it. Your brain will show you acting in a way that will bring failure, like sleeping, scrolling for hours, not working, focused, or whatever. So it's extremely important to change your raw data and your information about yourself and about your environment, but most importantly about yourself. You have to know who you are, and that is a decision. But how do you make a decision of who you are? Like, I am disciplined, I am worth, I am intelligent. That's a decision. It's just a decision. I am deciding I am those, and you have to decide who you are as well. But how? How do you make this decision? So if you want to make this decision of changing who you are and actually deciding who you are, the decision, okay, then you will have to build a new skill that is called awareness. It's like meditating and being aware of your breath for minutes. It's the same thing, but with your thoughts, and as long as you can. When you become aware of your thoughts and your brain actually internalizes that thoughts are not real or fake, thoughts just are, then you can start having free will and deciding who you are. Every time a prediction pops up in your brain, showing yourself failing in a way, then you just understand that that's just a prediction made by your brain basing on the wrong data, and that data is not even real or fake. It's not even fake. It's not even fake that you are shy. It's just a thought. So you make the decision of who you are and you stay grounded on that decision. Your actions will change, your brain will store the data, and you will create new information by making a decision. I am disciplined, I am worth, I am smart, I can do it, I will succeed, whatever. When you start acting this way, your identity, your new identity gets reinforced and more reinforced and more reinforced. And there is a point where this new identity becomes automatic. It becomes like you. Let's say, like you already are that. Don't feel distance until this is automatic. It's just a matter of systems. Like you have to make this automatic. That doesn't mean you're not this new identity. Like if you think, oh, I am not this new identity, I am just trying, that's just a thought. Who says that's true or false? Like who says? I mean, you decide to become a new person, then that's a thought. That's real. If you are deciding you are a new person and you believe deeply that you are that person, then you are that new person. So if you want to change your life, just understand, internalize this information and become aware of your thoughts. You have to change the raw data and the information that is inside your brain. It doesn't matter the method you use, you can just work on it as long as you are aware of your thoughts and make the decision of who you are. So I hope it helped. Thanks for watching. Bye.